Yo, what up? I'm Nick.
Alex.
Welcome to Nick and Alex. 今日の話は欧米人、アメリカ人、ヨーロッパ人が英語を喋れない日本人とうまく付き合えるか。だから恋愛の話。I'm married.
Yes.
結婚してるんでよくわかると思うんですけど。
Oh,
You
of course.
wouldn't
always,
know.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I'm just gonna leave right now.
You're also only 25. So.
I'm 24.
Oh, 24.
How dare you?
日本人の女は怒るそれで。Yeah.
Anyway,
結構欧米人が怒るの。Do they get mad in Russia when you say the wrong age?
well, if you say more, then of course.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you say
yeah.
less,
Less?
then it depends.
Yeah.
Like if you're a teenager, you'll get offended, but if you're like,
Yeah.
past 20s.
So, I mean, culturally and language-wise, do you
Yeah.
think it's possible to have a good relationship? I'll start with you, and then I'll give you my opinion.
Okay. Well, culturally, I think it is possible to, have two different cultures work. But of course, you have to, it's not going to be maybe as easy, and you have to work on it. But I don't think it's impossible. But if you don't speak each other's languages, that would be a tricky part. Although I know of couples that at least started with that sort of situation and are doing pretty well. But
Really? I don't know anybody who's ever done well who they don't speak.
well, but they started speaking. So this is basically my personal, not mine, but an example from my family. My mother didn't really speak Spanish when she moved to Spain, and then she was learning, and then she met her current husband, and then they both started learning each other's languages.
Question, though.
Yep.
As opposed to Japanese, there may be more similarities with a Russian and a Spanish person. So it's not just a language thing, it's also a cultural thing. ロシアとスペインはもちろん文化は全く違うと思うけど。
But I think it also really depends on the person. Like me and my mother are polar opposites, so she and the Spanish person probably work as well as me and Japanese person. So
I see.
I'm very much kind of quieter and.
俺は全然ロマンチックじゃない考え方だけど、俺は無理だと思う。俺ほぼほぼ無理だと思う。
Wait, you're married?
I am. 僕は結婚してるけど、俺はルール的には帰国子女じゃない日本人とか、その留学長くしたことない日本人は、外人と付き合うのはきついと思う。やっぱ。付き合うはどうでもいいや。俺結婚の話をしてる。
Well, okay, I don't know about Kikon, and also I have to admit that I have never had close, even friendships with Japanese people who have never been abroad or
So, anything besides marriage to me does not count as a relationship. 俺は結婚してなければ付き合ってるって言えないと思う。I don't think もうどうでもいい。俺からすると。
Wow.
浮気してもいいしと思う。But,俺の嫁はアメリカに興味ないし、外人も興味ないし、英語も喋れないんだけどさ、俺天才だからさ、日本語喋れんの。なのにまだいろんな文化の壁とかあるからさ。And I've seen my other friends who are married in similar situations as me, and they have the same problems, as opposed to guys who are dating Japanese women or Japanese women who are dating Japanese men. Wait, hold on. Well, what I'm trying to say is, if one of the people have either lived in the other country, or two Japanese, or two guys, or two girls, it doesn't matter. If one of them has lived in another, like abroad, and can speak the language fluently, the relationship is fine.
So the question is language then, or
the question is both. But culture is almost completely language. I think language probably takes up 90% of culture, in my opinion.
Well, at least 50, I say.
I say more than 50 because I can get along with like an English person or an Australian or like a English-speaking European.
Yeah.
Even though I try to keep my distance from them. No, I'm just joking. Pretty well, just as well as I can do with an American guy.
But do you think so? Basically, you think that Japan is actually still so different from all the
Yes.
countries.
俺日本はアメリカとか欧米からも全く違うと思います。
I feel like actually maybe Japan is a little bit more similar with Russia than it is with America.
Good point.
I really feel like some of the things that you dislike, I am completely fine with.
What do I dislike?
Well, not dislike, but you know, you're just more.
I've also been here more than twice as long as you have,
Oh,
so
yes,
you
you
haven't
have.
been here long enough to figure out things that you think
Well,
are...
maybe I'm trying to become more Japanese right now, and then I'll be, you know.
Well, that's
having
another
the
thing. It's
reverse
impossible to become Japanese.
Well, yes, it is. I mean, but like when you just move here, you're trying to sort of be not a complete gaijin that, you know.
Yeah, for
annoys
sure,
people.
for sure. I mean, I'm probably... Many people tell me I act pretty Japanese in some ways.
Well, in some ways, but in the other ways, you act
Yeah.
very American.
Yeah, for sure,
so,
for sure. I think it's just... it's just, なんていうの? Like a paradigm, a different paradigm compared to like...
I guess, but well, I think if you really try to, you know, make an effort to learn each other's cultures and languages, and it would take a lot of effort, it would probably take a lot of, you know, love or whatever, just, you know, you really need to want to.
That's where I disagree with you wholeheartedly. I think real attraction takes no effort.
Well, what sort of attraction? If we're talking about sexual attraction, it takes no effort, but...
Yeah, but I think even a long distance relationship should take almost no effort. People are always like, you have to work on a marriage. No. Sorry. No, not for a good one.
Well, but if you are speaking different languages, you would have to.
Oh yeah,
obviously
you will.
work
So that's why it
on it.
probably will never work. Because you're always trying to put in so much effort.
But here we have an example of someone who.
Yeah, with kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
What do you think about like hafu? By the way, are they more of a marriage material than?
not necessarily, because if they were born in Japan, can only speak Japanese, it's a Japanese person.
But your children have been abroad pretty much.
They have, and they can speak both.
Right.
So,
They will.
but I mean, me and my wife have been together for so long though. I don't know if it takes effort though. I'm not sure. I don't know. This is a difficult one. What do you guys think? I think language and culture makes everything like, you know, effortless in some ways.
Oh, tell us whether you maybe have some experience with your partner or ex-partner.
Yeah. It can't be like 2 years. It has to be more than 4 years. I don't count anything as a relationship if it's
Okay.
less than 4 years.
I'll listen to your stories even if it's less than
won't.
4 years.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.